God, please, no! 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 No!
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Tier 8 Mercenary medium tank, the Trinity Mk2. This is actually a medium tank that I used to enjoy a fair bit before 6.0, and that was purely because this gun is like laser accurate. It's absolute laser. It was beautiful. Since 6.0 it's a bit better, obviously, because it's one thing that is bad about it, which is the reload, the DPM. Well, it's not really a bad thing anymore about it, which, you know, goes for a lot of tanks. But, you know, it's one that I could never quite get over the line. I tended to have a lot of games where everything collapsed a little bit too quickly for it, because it is a very slow medium tank, very slow. It's got a lot of spaced armor, which really does help it in a lot of situations. You do get a lot of miracle bounces that you sit there going, what? How? Okay. Sure. I'll take it when you bounce and stuff like that. And for that spaced armor, you lose all of the mobility going. Now, the Beach Party is the opposite to this tank, and it loses the spaced armor and gains a bit of mobility. But to be honest, that tank is just flat out worse, because it only gains 5 kilometers an hour top speed on it with a bit more horsepower, and it's not worth the lack of armor at all. But yeah, so it's one that I finally got over the line anyway, and it's 3 replays. Well, you'll see why it's 3 replays when we get to it. And this first game is very similar to how the one in the RL went the other day, and that is that it is Toy Town, and if you can get ahead of the mayhem very quickly, you can do a hell of a lot of damage. You can squeeze out a lot very quickly when you're managing to brawl. Now, unfortunately, we didn't manage to auto-aim the shot onto that Type 59. We actually missed him, and we're going to hopefully finish him off. I was a bit too slow, though, to save my friend, just because I was being lazy and auto-aiming, which I can never recommend doing. You want to aim properly. We side-scrape out a little bit. We probably would have got pen there because we did over-angle, but hey, it's fine. We shut down the Jagdpanther, and there you go. There's some issues with Toy Town, right? And that was that there's so many areas where you can shoot the tank. Like, you just see me shoot the Tiger 1 there, but there's no outline, nothing, because for some reason the cover basically acts as a shield and blocks the ability to see outlines and stuff like that, which is really annoying. So we're just side-scraping out on this defender. We don't want to lose any more hit points. We managed to get him shut down, and there's just a heavy tank in front of us. It's Tiger 2. So I'm watching the Tiger 2 and thinking, hey, yeah, I want all of your hit points, friend. We get lucky that that artillery that I just didn't even notice shoots the defender and not me. Defender shuts him down, and now we're going to go around on this Tiger 2. We're going to aim for the tracks. And unfortunately, I shot a little bit too early as I was going around the corner, so he ends up tracking me, and I don't do damage to him. We track him there, though we actually track and pen him, which is crazy. I have no idea how from that angle we did that, but we did. Now we're just going for the pens. We got a little bit of assistance from the defender on it, but I know I'm going to out-reload this defender. And we were going to shut down the Tiger 2, but we didn't actually shut him down. We did a little bit more damage to him. We low-rolled, which meant he survived. We get a nice snapshot into the icebreaker, and I'm watching this icebreaker going, don't shut me down now, please. Don't do it. We're using the cover in front of us of the toy blocks. That feels weird to say. Yeah, we're using the toy blocks as cover in front of us to stay away from him, and then we're just going to keep pumping shots in. I was hoping to track him there as well, so that if he did get tracked and shot there, I'd get loads of assistance, but unfortunately he didn't. Dragon pops out, we get an auto-aim shot into him, and like I said, we're just alternating with the cover, and now that Dragon I'm pretty sure is going to die, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up behind this icebreaker, try and get the final shot into him. But I mean, the likelihood of that is quite low, because we've got Swindle rushing in behind him. But then we come around the corner, aim for his lower plate, shut him down, because that's the only place we're actually going to pen him with the Trinity. But that was a great game on Toy Town 4, the Trinity. Like that map is perfect for those tanks that can take advantage of brawling really quickly, or just getting your damage out, basically. Just keeping your gun working consistently. It means you can get some big damage games. So you see, like, Swindle did 5k in the Rev, and I did nearly 5k in the Trinity. And you just push out some great damage. So we finished with Ace Tanker, Brothers in Arms, Confederate, Steel Wall, like 4.8k damage and a bit of assistance. That is a hell of a big game for a tier 8 tank, same as it is for the Rev, and that put us on 93.14. And that, you know, that puts us within a shout of getting, what, 2 good games, I'd say? Yeah, two good games and we'll have it, pretty much. So we're on to the next game, and this one is on Prokhorovka, which you kind of always dreaming of, right, when you get to it. Because Prokhorovka is a map where you can, if you get lucky enough, probably is a good way of putting it, if you get lucky enough and put yourself in the right situation, you can really get out a hell of a lot of assisted damage. And that is great. And that basically from this bowl area. And if you get a map like this as well, where you've got no artillery, it means you can take aggressive positions, you can take aggressive spotting positions, and you won't get slapped up by artillery, you won't get punished for taking that position and spotting out, because, well, you can just sit there and not get pooped on, and you can keep popping up and spotting without, like I say, that worry. So right now we've taken up the position behind the bowl, because we've got 2 guys in it, and they're spotting up that line, so I'm just going to take advantage of their spotting. There's no point of me pushing into this bowl, because I'll probably die at this moment in time, and I'd just be wasting chances to get shots off down the one line from their spotting. So we're just going to keep slapping the shots in, and obviously this gun is amazing. This gun is a fantastic gun, and that means that you're not really having to aim all that often. I mean, the pen's good as well. It's like 223 on the standard, 260 something on the APCR, which is really nice. But having that 0.3 accuracy base without the crew skills means that you can just get this thing to be filthy. And you're not really having to aim. You're just literally popping up, bang, back behind the ridgeline. Pop up, bang, back behind the ridgeline. And it's as simple as that. And right now I'm thinking about pushing into the bowl, because look how deep they've pushed back now. And it's like, do I want to push into the bowl? Do I want to risk it right now? We're up to 1300 damage. And I'm thinking, I could do, but I am wanting to be greedy, right? Because we are on a mark grind, and being greedy is what you need. You want to be greedy when you're going for the marks. You want to be thinking how, and by greedy, what I mean is how can I push my combined damage as high as possible. And being aggressive is usually the one. I'm just toying with it, because the amount of times I have made that choice to push into the bowl at times on proc, and then you push in and you get absolutely wrecked, is unbelievable. So it makes me hesitate. And we're just playing a waiting game, which is exactly what we're doing, because those guys were being spotted up down the one line by my guys in the bowl, and I'm just waiting for that. But you know, I've decided I've waited around too long, pretty much. We get a lucky shot bounced on the side of our turret, and I'm thinking, you know what, there's these 2 mediums over here. I'm going to change up the angle of attack. I'm going to hopefully have some better shots at people. I want to try and shoot these guys here, but if anyone gets spotted up on the one line down there and they're camping in the bushes, I can spot them up. Well, I say I can spot them up, I can shoot them up from here as well. So you see we've got a shot at that Concept 1B, it flies straight in. I'm already up to 2.5k combined, which is just a little bit below what we needed to do to hold it, because I think at the time when I did it, it was about 2.7, something like that, what I needed to hold the mark when it was in the 90s. So now we're up another 300 assistance. I'm thinking, you know what, I've now sort of not saved it, but I've held it. I can be a little bit more aggressive. I can eat some shots now, and I can put some shots in. And by eat some shots, obviously I'll eat a shot from the camp panzer or two, but I can pump up on the ridgeline a little bit further up and possibly take shots to put shots into them, which is again pushing my damage total up and pushing it up a little bit. So that's what I'm doing. But then we take a slap from the hill, and you know what, I'm not about that life. That Conqueror is just going to sit there on that ridgeline at E9 and is just going to consistently put shots in. And I'm not going to do that, because no one's on that side of the map. No one's going to spot him up, which means I'm just going to get farmed by him. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to push into the bowl now and hopefully get some more shots down there. And unfortunately we get tagged by, I think, the Leopard PTA as we went into the bowl, which means I'm now a one shot for anything with 390 alpha, which there's still a few tanks that have that. And that makes it even more risky now what I'm trying to do, which is really annoying. It's kind of frustrating that Leopard managed to get that tag in. I mean, at the minute we're sitting at 3.3k combined, which is good, which means we're looking at an improvement, right? Which is what you want. But we get a nice shot down the one line into the Concept 1B's turret, looking to hopefully finish him off, but he pulls back behind the ridge line. And we're just, again, we're just trying to feather out the targets and use this bold position. That those guys down there seem to be preoccupied, and that's what I've decided now. Unfortunately, we get shot by the T-44 there. We actually bounced a shot from the Camp Panzer, which is nice. I was thinking I could push over to shoot these guys, because those two heavies down there are going to be distracted, right? They're going to be distracted with that heavy tank in front of them, so they're not going to be looking this way and shooting me. Now, I'm getting a little bit fortunate that that Camp Panzer is bouncing on my turret, because the gun manlet of the Trinity is a weak spot, because either side of the gun is actually only like 160mm thick. But here we are, we're actually, this is a thing that not many people seem to know about the Camp Panzer, right? If you shoot the Camp Panzer in the little viewport on the left hand side of the turret, it can be penned by guns at like up to 200 effective, and you see we're just buttering it. We have loaded Prem, we've got 260 penetration, it's about 220 effective, I think, actually, that viewport, which means that with my standard rounds I'm a 50-50 to go through, but if I just load Prem like I did there, I can just destroy his turret. And that's what I did, because he was always going to, it was always the chance that he was basically going to kill me at some point. It was going to get that shot in, hit the right spot on my turret front and pen me. And I wanted the damage on him, and I wanted to get rid of him, so I just loaded the Prem, laser accurate gun, can hit that small little weak spot in his viewport, and we managed to get a good amount of damage on him. And we've now pushed it up to 4.3k combined, which again is going to put us up by a fine margin, really. I mean, because there was a game in between this one and the last one, and it meant we went up to about 94 point, if I remember rightly, because it was a little while ago since it was Christmas. I say Christmas, I think I did this end of Jan, first week in Jan. But yeah, it was about 93.9 I think is what it put me on. So, you know, 93.9, if I have a really, really good game, a whole percent type of game, I could get a good amount there. And you see there with that, we ended up with like 5.2k combined, which is another fantastic game for the tank, which will push us up a good percent at least. And we've got the Ace tank, we've got a Spartan for blocking shots while on lower health, we've got a Confederate, and it actually put us on 94.92. And that's just how close it could have got us. If we got like 2 or 3 more shots, got a bit more assistance, like got the full assistance on that VK for instance, we probably would have had it. But it was still a good enough game to put us on 94.2, and all we need is a tiny game. And it's usually the way with these marks of excellences, to be fair. You will often have an absolutely fantastic game before the third mark, and then you get a game which is enough. It's not a very good game, but it's enough. And typical map rotation, we get Prokhorovka again. But to be fair, you get Proc twice, you don't moan. Abbey twice, maybe. Proc, does depend on the tank, obviously. If you get Proc twice in a Type 4 or Type 5 heavy, then you're just cursing your luck, right? But in the Trinity, again, I'm just like, yes, this is great. Although, it is 2 artillery, which causes its own problems. And that is a pain in itself. So we've come to this position here, again, to get some shots down this line. Now, we get a nice shot into the Roger Dodger. Unfortunately, it was a low roll for 196, which is, yeah, something that happens nowadays. We get a nice shot into the Roger Dodger again for 251. That's great. That's 2 free shots for no damage into us. Take it. And you know what? I'm thinking I'm going to move up towards the bowl, because there's no one in the bowl. There's no one in this position over here. I want to get into this position similar to what I was in last time to try and spot out. And I'm thinking of going into the bowl again, because with that close, I kind of want to push my view range up, push my spotting assistance, my damage combined up. So I'm like, okay, I'll take this position, spot up. Luckily for me, and perfectly for me, that ISM right there is stock. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing, because a stock ISM is an easy pen. But now, unfortunately, he's dead, and these guys are all hull down. Tiger 1, easy pen, which is great. But I'm just trying to keep them lit and hoping that my artillery will blap them. Because if it blaps them, they'll give me assistance. We're already up to 1,800 combined, which is great. And I'm like, right, okay, I need to push my assistance. I need to get some more spotting. So I'm going to move into the bowl, which I say is always risky. And we take a slap from one of the guys down the way, which is quite lucky. Again, we could have lost more health than that. And this YOLO Vanguard, YOLO's in. Unfortunately, we miss him, which is, you know, sad. And we're just trying to avoid artillery shells. We're trying to push up our damage as much as possible. So we pop up, get a nice auto-aim shot into the Roger Dodger. We are spotting these guys, so I'm hoping that they'll get blapped for some assistance. And we get another shot into the Roger Dodger. Now, unfortunately, I do run both fire skills in this tank, because it does like to get set on fire when it's shot in the back end. But neither fire prevention... Well, fire prevention there is what I was on about when I say I don't take it, because I still got set on fire anyway, for the lols. Firefighting helped put it out quicker, which is what I want. But unfortunately, that fire leaves me on low enough health for this Vanguard to YOLO him, and he finishes us off, which is really annoying, but that's the way it is. But with that damage and assistance we managed to get, it was just enough. We ended up with 1,800 damage, 1,500 assistance, so that was like, what, 3.3k, 3.4k combined, and that was enough to move up a decent amount to get the third mark of excellence on the Trinity, and that's all you need. You just need that little bit when you get up to that. You just need to do enough when you get up to like 94.2, and you'll have it. So that was a nice game for the Trinity. That was a nice game to finish off the Trinity's third mark of excellence, and it is kind of a fun tank. I always loved it just for the laser gun, but nowadays obviously there is a lot more tanks with more laser accurate guns, so it's a little bit less special. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success!